I hope everybody's having a good morning. Yeah, I'm Ken from Paywatch, moderator for today. And today's topic is about Malaysia. Malaysia AI and investment and opportunities in Southeast Asia. Before we start, may I get our panelists to introduce themselves? Shall we start with Haizam?
Yeah.
Dato Haizam.
My name is Syed Haizam. I'm the managing partner of the Hive Southeast Asia. We run early stage venture capital company in Malaysia under the Ministry of Finance. Basically, the mandate is to invest into companies that will digitize Malaysia into the fourth industrial revolution. We are also just about to launch a Hive Global AI Fund with our partners in the US and Brazil. And one of those investments is the Global AI Village, which will be based in Malaysia, which will be housing AI engineers, not just Malaysians, but from all over the world, to service this AI ecosystem and AI boom in Southeast Asia. And also, we've partnered with the National AI Office for the National AI Office Lab to be the incubator for AI companies for the government and for GLCs in Malaysia.
Thank you, Ken. My name is Murdani. I'm from Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, or MDEC. So we are an agency under the Ministry of Digital. Our primary mandate is to drive digital economy, and we are very much interested to build up the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem, to make sure that government are providing enough support to make sure that the ecosystem can grow, and we welcome any opportunity to collaborate with any partners here. Thank you.
Jimmy?
Thanks for that, Kenneth. I'm Jimmy from OSK Ventures. We currently manage 3 buckets of funds, one of which is a venture debt fund, a co-GP, co-LP fund with SBI from Japan that looks into later stage equity investments across Southeast Asian companies. Where I'm attached to is a fund that looks into both Series A and B stage startups across Southeast Asia.
Okay, so gentlemen, thank you for your time today. It is exciting times in Southeast Asia and especially Malaysia. So for those who are uninitiated, actually the tech trends show that by 2026, the digital economy will be exceeding US dollars 300 billion. So that's how big the opportunity is now in Malaysia especially. So as a first question, maybe I'll pass it off to Dato Haizam. Can you share the key tech landscape rising in Southeast Asia? Like what are the factors that are contributing to it and making it so attractive?
There's a lot of different factors, and I think the Malaysian government in particular, Malaysia is now the chairman of the ASEAN Summit for this year. We're really doubling down in this AI space, not just in infrastructure, but expanding out of that. So with regards to infrastructure, historically, we've been really big in the semiconductor space in Penang, building out chips, etc., manufacturing chips. And we're doubling down on that, perhaps going a bit more high-tech. I think the government announced an investment by ARM Holdings over the next 5 years with regards to high-end chips that we will be developing within Malaysia. The Selangor State Government is also building IC design parks, so really doubling down on that side of things. The big companies from all over the world are building data centers. There's a lot of opportunity in Malaysia because of the relative cost of energy, the relative cost of water, and the willingness for the Malaysian government, supported by agencies like MDEC, to support this infrastructure play within Malaysia. So for us, that's one of the reasons why us, as a Silicon Valley-based, Southeast Asian-based venture capital fund, we have decided that this new fund is going to be a global AI fund, which will be heavily situated within Malaysia to take advantage of the AI output that we will be building. So the Hive Global AI Fund is a 75 million US fund, and 2/3 will be invested in Silicon Valley and the US, and 1/3 will be in Malaysia. As I mentioned, we're building the Global AI Village, which will be housing AI engineers, not just from Malaysia, but from all over the world. So there's a relative cost benefit for companies. So startups in the US and all over the world, in China, etc., they can't afford AI engineers from where they are. They're priced out of the market by the big boys. So we're really taking advantage of the Malaysian economics, Southeast Asian economics for AI engineers to then service companies that are built from all over the world. So that is one of the initiatives that we are building out of Malaysia. So there's a lot of talent in Malaysia. Malaysia demographically is a very young country. Southeast Asia is a very young region, and open for upskilling in this AI space. So all these different government initiatives, these different macroeconomic factors will enable Malaysia to really take advantage, and Southeast Asia to take advantage of this AI boom.
Oh, that's very interesting. So, Malaysia obviously very strong in hardware infrastructure, but what we're seeing is a transition into software infrastructure and especially AI infrastructure. So, Jimmy, what's your view on this?
I think both our partners here from Hive and also one from MDEC will cover a bit more on both the ecosystem sides of things. But if you look at this core, if you could just break down the supply and the demand to the three stages. On the supply side, we have ecosystem partners with global AI developments and the MDEC's AI initiative. These initiatives helps align and support a lot of these ecosystem partners. But what we are sensing here right now is that based on the leads that we have, in general, across the 900 leads that we processed in the last 1 year, interestingly, typically seed stage will take out about 30% of our leads, Series A about 20-25, with the balance of maybe 10-15% each for late Series B or even pre-seed. But specifically on AI and also generative AI leads, it takes up 60% of these leads constitutes the seed stage, with a balance about 20% in Series A. It goes back to what Kenneth has said, is that we are seeing some emerging trends with a lot of the nascent seed stage AI companies taking shape in Malaysia. At least statistically, this is what we are sensing from the ground. On the demand side, I believe we may have touched base in the past. We did sense a number of traditional corporates and digital natives alike who are keen to adopt some sense of AI innovations across their processes internally. It may help in terms of how they could help improve the process and reduce the cost, but we are not seeing a company-wide adoption in a big way, at least not yet.
Okay. So do you expect to see a unicorn in the next 5 years in Malaysia in this space?
Some of our peers may disagree, but at least from the data points that we could gather, arguably for Southeast Asia, we're not there yet. The data points that we have a log normal distribution of a lot of these private companies' valuation. We are seeing a peak of private companies' valuation that range between 50 million to 300 million US dollar. There are a number of unicorns, but they are a long, slim tail. To contrast with a single unified market like US and China, we are seeing a long, fat tail that hovers around between 10 billion US dollar. So what this means for Southeast Asian peers or VC investors will be, if we take a US and China playbook, a typical loss ratio for Series A and B will hover between 20 to maybe 25%. But without the commensurative upside on the long fat tail for the reward, a VC investment playbook from US and China may not work in Southeast Asia to most extent. I don't think we are there yet. A lot of our partners ask why. So let's take, for example, Paywatch. So I know this is unscripted, it may caught you by surprise. But across Southeast Asia, you are seeing a number of emerging access players. Each of these countries may want to support the local partners. Every $1 or $2 they raise is not meant to grow a single unified market, but to compete with one another. In contrast with countries like US and China, every dollar raised is meant to grow their market. So I guess that's one of the key reasons.
Okay, well, I think we're very lucky at Paywatch and we see that there's a lot of interest, private interest from VCs and angel investors in Southeast Asian and particularly Malaysian startups. So, Murdani, what do you think in terms of government policy, MDEC initiatives? What can you introduce some of them to us?
Okay, thank you, Ken. So let me just give the bigger perspective of the opportunities in ASEAN. With 150 million population, and you mentioned about market size just now, but moving forward, I think in ASEAN, digital economy will grow to about $1 trillion by 2030. So largely driven by e-commerce and other online services. So that shows that there are so much opportunities in ASEAN. And this is why I think it has to be well positioned to make sure that whatever interventions are done is meant to grow the ecosystem. So coming back to Malaysia, you have seen that we have gotten so much investments in the data center, for example, right? About $20 billion in 2024 alone. That shows that we have built a strong foundation in AI ecosystem. We have 3 AI layers of ecosystem. The first one is infrastructure. So in a sense that would provide a foundation, impetus for the ecosystem to grow. And the next step is how do we build the AI modeling. And the third one, the last step is services. So these are the 3 layers, I think, would provide opportunities for investment. $20 billion in data center investment, which means that 3 times investment in the services. So obviously there are so much opportunities for any startups in the AI ecosystem that can play a role in that development. Whatever solution that is needed, systems are needed to make sure that we can jumpstart the economy. So for Malaysia, we see this as a very big opportunities. For example, like you have heard our Care20 initiative, where all in all is about $1 billion or ringgit Malaysia of government funding if it's put in the ecosystem to make sure that it can be well distributed to the needs of the company. So, and then secondly is in terms of other incentive. We welcome the VC ecosystem to grow in Malaysia. So you have a lot of interventions such as a golden pass to make sure that they can have soft landing zone in Malaysia and re-domiciling all businesses in Malaysia and look at the ASEAN on the bigger perspective, 650 million population, $1 billion trillion of digital economy by 2030, so much opportunities that we welcome anyone to use Malaysia as a landing point that we can provide enough facilitation and support to make sure they can grow, not only in Malaysia but also in the region.
Thank you, and I totally agree because our engineering team is purely headquartered in Malaysia for Paywatch, and it's not my CTO making me say that, but there are very, very good engineers in Malaysia alone. But obviously the question then is, how do we improve engineering, AI engineering specific talent in Malaysia? So I think Dato, Haizam, you had some thoughts about that.
Yeah, no, so as I mentioned, under the Global AI Fund, one of our investments is the Global AI Village, which we announced with the National AI Office end of last year. The Global AI Village from all over the world will be housing AI engineers. We're looking at, over the next 5 years, 450 AI engineers will be housed there. And they'll be working on projects. So working on projects with our Global AI Fund. So all the companies that we will be building and investing into from the Global AI Fund will have access to this Global AI Village AI engineers. And at the same time, we have this National AI Office lab that I was telling you about that is working with government to ideate and co-create companies. So for example, the first project that we're working on is a company called Rakan Tani, which is translated is farmer's friend. So it's putting AI at the hands of farmers. And that's a project that has emanated from us through Global AI Village. At the moment, Global AI Village only has 3 AI engineers, but it will be working on these various projects, and then the numbers will grow, right? What we find with regards to Malaysia is that, cost effective, I think high skilled, and also language is no problem. Multiculturally we have a lot of different cultures, and language is no problem. We can work on projects with China, we can work on projects with the US. There's no issue there. And there's a lot of programs under MDEC and under the programs where they're upskilling in AI. So the ecosystem is prime and ripe to take advantage of that. And Malaysia, I think, there's a worry that we're building all these data centers, that it becomes just a pass-through. But what we want is to build this, with the help of the likes of MDEC, is to build the application side of AI, that we can keep this AI output within Malaysia.
Okay, and so I guess, as you were saying, as the quality and the quantity of the talent pool for AI increases, we'll see more things happen. In terms of applications, what sort of applications do you expect to see in the future? And And where else would the AI tech be used?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the first project is in agriculture. So the Ministry of Digital has come with us with 6 different areas that they want to look at with regards to government. And the first areas that they want to co-create and build AI companies. The first one is agriculture. We have healthcare. We have transport and logistics. And they just recently added SME, government services, and education. So those are the 6 verticals that we are. So as a fund, in Southeast Asia, we're looking at building companies vertically. The Hive in the US, we will still be building companies out there. It's more on the horizontal aspect of AI.
Okay. How about you, Jimmy? How do you see this?
I think for bulk of these Southeast Asian nations, like it or not, there are a few key sectors that will benefit from it. I think what we have identified are the manufacturing sectors. So typically these are generally labor intensive, and what we have seen of late is that machine visions for quality control and QA has come to a point where it is very reliable, very accurate. It is able to displace manual foreign labors, and I think we are seeing a strong adoptions along these verticals. Plantation, maybe, not so. I think I was just joking where I think we were talking about this in the past. If you are a durian planters, your clients may not care whether the durian is grade A or grade B. Sorting doesn't quite matter. But when it comes to QA and QC for rubber glove, or for instruments that are sensitive or healthcare instruments, these QA and QCs matters a lot for them. Breaching the SLA for the end manufacturers or end customers will result in a very huge punitive penalty for them. And this has driven a lot of adoptions across the manufacturing sectors. For reasons being, I think they are finding it hard to get workers as well. A combination of lack of foreign labors as well as compliance costs has pushed some adoptions across. So just one last point. I think one of the key driving factors is that we notice things that could help improve profitability from the get-go. Plant managers have a lot of say in adopting one way or another some form of machine vision QC. So I guess the trick is very much speak to the right parties in an organizations. If it helps deliver profit for them, you will find the cycle is a lot shorter.
Okay, excellent. So, AI will generally improve everything, it sounds like, from manufacturing to the new economy. And as the tide rises, all the ships will rise with it. So where does MDEC envision the return on investment from this investment in AI to really appear? And what sort of quantum are you thinking in the back of your mind?
Constant?
The benefits of AI to the Malaysian economy, especially.
Let me just sync up the conversation on the focus sectors. So the easiest way to adopt is on the non-regulated sectors. So Dato mentioned about agriculture and the smart cities are the 2 low-hanging fruits for the adoption. So if you are able to develop solutions based on the real challenges of those sectors, that's where I think the opportunities are. For example, like in agriculture, you need to have AI components in the ecosystem, in the sensors, for example, to make sure that they can monitor the crops and how do they double the yields in terms of production every year. And some smart cities, we have been AI was there for so many years. You have been doing the cameras, observation area, but now how will you put AI components to make sure that you can derive value and also how to get data? I think the other challenges are getting the data to be on the platform to make sure that you can drive your solution. So these are the 2 sectors I would put a bet on in terms of how government will provide more intervention. Coming with the talent just now, I think we can't see talent from AI hardcore perspective because AI requires cybersecurity, AI requires cloud computing. So all in all, I think that what government is doing is about the upskilling and reskilling of the resources to make sure that it can be groomed to the sectors that we are focusing on. The sectors will drive the adoption and how do we contribute to the digital economy as a whole. So these are the things I think if you put in the perspective, AI can become, people talk about AI replacing the job. Actually it's not. It is about using AI to be more efficient, and the people can be retrained and repurposed for other things that give more value to the business. So I think these are the things that we have put in place to make sure that we can grow AI. Growth, ASEAN, APEC, AI market growth is growing faster than global market. So there is a clear runway in terms of putting where the policies are and how do we attract the right investment to make sure that it can diffuse the adoption rate.
Excellent. And so I think, there's a lot of opportunities for Hong Kong startups to go into Malaysia and explore the scene there. So, is there any advice, Dato Haizam, you would give any Hong Kong startup who wants to go into Malaysia to expand their business?
I think through MDEC and through other government initiatives, as we're very, very welcoming. As I mentioned, the Global AI Village, not just startups, AI engineers from Hong Kong and the region who want to come and work in Malaysia. It's a nice place, a good standard of living, and you will be working on these projects with the Malaysian government. Our fund is US as well as Southeast Asia, so you'll be working on projects in cybersecurity, in oil and gas, AI engineering for oil and gas, and very exciting projects. I think we will probably have to sit down with MDEC with regards to the visa. MDEC helping us get some of these people from overseas to work on projects in Malaysia.
Yeah. So MDEC's booth is actually at E25 around the corner in case you want to look for them. I think we're a bit short on time. Maybe we'll have one question if there is any from the audience. Probably, maybe not then. Okay, then maybe I have a question is that, oh, there is? Oh, please, lady on the back.
Thank you, very informative session. I was just wondering, apart from the industries that you mentioned, are these opportunities also available outside of those industries, let's say for entertainment, for theme parks and stuff like that, in the tourism sector?
Yeah, so the sectors that I mentioned was specifically what the National AI Office has given us as the National AI Office Lab to look at as a first priority. But definitely, we're opportunistic. At the end of the day, we're a commercial fund as well. We're looking at opportunities that to invest into AI companies that will help, I guess, the economy and etc. If that's in entertainment or tourism, we will go down that route. We're a commercial fund.
So there are opportunities apart from those I mentioned just now. I think, as Ken said, we can have a discussion at the booth. We have the team to see what are your requirements, and we can always facilitate that kind of question. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for presenting today to our audience. Remember, guys, MDEC is at E25 booth if you want to continue the conversation. So once again, let's give a round of applause for our guests. Thank you.